Hey everyone, in this episode of HubFuel, we're going to be talking about campaigns, and more specifically, we're going to be talking about attribution and how we can actually report on our campaigns and ultimately their contributions towards sales and ultimately revenue. So if you are a HubSpot user already, you'll be somewhat familiar with campaigns within HubSpot. Now, the common pain point that we often find is people build robust dashboards, which are really good to show us overall pictures of data. But this picture of data doesn't necessarily correspond to a particular tactic nor action. That's where HubSpot campaigns come in. So in order to access HubSpot's campaigns, you just simply need to go to marketing and then campaigns. From here, you can actually create a new campaign or filter existing ones based on aspects such as when they were created, i.e. starting this quarter, recently created, or just all campaigns. What a campaign allows you to do is something that looks like this. As you can see, I've put together an example campaign where the owner is myself. From here, I can set a goal, I can set my audience, I can put notes on the start and the end date, as well as the budget, which means that it's giving me a bit more control over specific actions I may have taken with certain resource or investment I may have put into an internal marketing campaign. From here, I can actually view core metrics such as how many sessions this campaign brought in, how many new contacts that we did not know prior to this campaign in HubSpot, compared to how many contacts we did already know but did touch this campaign in some form, in the form of influence contacts. And then the most important metric to most businesses is how many deals came on the back of that initial campaign. With any of these metrics, you can actually click into the actual metrics to display a bigger breakdown on who them contacts are and what the deals are as well. Along the top, you can actually switch the attribution between first and last touch, which will dynamically change the figures, depending on the source or the kind of type of campaign that you're looking to run. If it's a campaign that's focused on lead generation, you may want to attribute on first touch. However, it's a re-engagement campaign, it may want to focus more on last touch. And with anything in HubSpot, you can filter it by date range as well. If you scroll down, you'll be able to see general kind of rules of thumb in terms of big pictures, in terms of when the sessions took place and how many contacts, either new or influenced, which you can click and filter between. But more specifically, you can actually break this down to the individual channels or tactics that you may have taken. So in terms of the actual micro actions you did with that campaign, how many emails did we actually send? How many landing pages did we set up, and how many views and submissions? How many social posts did we actually send, and how many clicks on each retrospective network? And then what automation strings did we also set up? From here, what it allows you to do is actually see all your assets that you create across HubSpot's wide array of tools in one central place, meaning you can look at any time over all the emails that was associated with a campaign, what the landing pages are that you actually set up, and all the different social posts that you actually put out, as well as the clicks and the overall engagement. This allows any marketing manager or sales manager to actually go in at a glance and see, one, how did the campaign perform against my initial investment, versus what from that campaign, what were the key performers versus the low performers, allowing us to do tactical, either soft changes if we were to run the campaign again, or more specifically, look at maximizing the top performers in terms of what emails and so on and so forth. The great thing about the campaigns tool is you can actually utilize it as a central hub, meaning that you can click on various CTAs across the tool and it will actually take you to the respective kind of emails and show you what those look like. Lastly, what you can actually do is have separate tabs, meaning you can see dashboards that have been created based on revenue that are attributed to certain categories. So of the contacts that created, how many came through the landing page versus integrations versus imports, them kind of assets, versus contacts being created by different asset titles. So of the landing pages, which one converted more specifically, and so on and so forth. You can also look at the overall assets in a more visual format, as well as actually assigning tasks out from the campaign as well, allowing you to seamlessly collaborate with people in the portal. So I could say, follow up with partners. I can set a task as either a content-led task that I need to produce some form of marketing asset, or a general just task that needs to. And I could either assign that to a marketing team member, I could associate it to a sales team member, and it would actually get assigned into their HubSpot tasks. I can set a due date, a due time, and put in a retrospective brief as well. Once that's been created and you wish to save that out, you will actually see that essentially from this campaign, all the tasks that are related to it, as well as the ones that are still open, what are due today, which are overdue, and all of which that have been completed as part of that campaign, allowing you to have a very soft level and management of your overall campaign execution and overall seamless collaboration across your actual HubSpot portal. So again, what this tool is great for is being able to actually, at a glance, look more in isolation at individual campaigns to assess ultimately the ROI they actually brought from a sales and a marketing perspective. You can also set up a campaign and then retrospectively add assets that you may have created prior, meaning that if you forgot to associate an ad campaign, you can actually just select the ad campaign, find any blogs that may have actually been in there, as well as call to actions as well. You can then use the same for emails, landing pages, social posts, static lists, website pages, and workflows, meaning that you can tie all your external and internal automation to the campaign as well for full visibility. And this will retrospectively populate all the figures that were based on the campaign. From here, you can actually create tracking URLs, meaning from the actual campaign, you can create a tracking URL that is fit in terms of Google's guidelines for UTMs, i.e. unique tracked parameters. You can set the source, where it came from. You can set what the medium is, the term, the content, i.e. for links you may distribute to partners that point back to your assets. So you can easily distinguish which partners you may have worked with on this campaign that generated the most traffic, the most contacts, and ultimately which ones were the most effective to bring in deals. This allows you to actually seamlessly create it all from the same interface, as well as coming back to the core source reports that you've seen on screen. Last but not least, you can actually edit the campaign at any point or comment on it to actually collaborate. So I could tag in an actual team member, such as what is the status of this campaign? Meaning I can actually have full visibility on all the comms, the tasks, and the overall performance on how a campaign is actually doing, and have a comment thread that would open as so. Last but not least, you can actually edit the campaign at any point in time to set the actual start and the end dates. You can pick a campaign color for easy segmentation, and then internal notes such as who the audience typically was, the budget, the goal, and the notes. So if you were to refer back in a year's time, you know exactly why you ran that campaign and what the definition of success was. And that's it. That's the HubSpot campaigns tool within the actual HubSpot portal. And that's it on this episode of HubFuel. And I look forward to speaking with you guys next time. Take care.